I've been studying anti-Semitism for a little over 15 years now, almost on a daily basis, studying, reading, writing, teaching, doing seminars. And the reason why I got into it 15 years ago, really more than before, was because I realized that something was happening in the world that all of a sudden this subject that was kind of taboo, especially after the closing of the Second World War, where nobody wanted to talk about hating the Jews, especially not from a racial standpoint. And it was this motto that was born: never again. You know, we didn't want to mention anything that was against the Jewish people. And then Israel was born. You know, things look good for a while. There's hope, and all of a sudden, in the last couple of decades, we see this rebirth of anti-Semitism from a different perspective, but that's starting to get really nasty against the Jewish people. And what we see, the big difference, is that when back in the days, 75 years ago during the Second World War, back in those days when we had an anti-Semitism that was kind of localized, now we see anywhere in the world, when something happens in Israel, it seems that by osmosis somehow, anywhere in the world, Jews are responsible. So you can be a French Jew in Paris, or a Jew in Caracas, or a Jew in other parts of the world, anywhere in the US, in Canada. If Israel does something that's not pleasing to those who hate the Jews, then all of a sudden, all the Jews everywhere in the world are responsible, when they're not. It's a different kind of anti-Semitism now that's different from the racial anti-Semitism of 75 years ago, which there are traces of this that still exist, but really what's driving the driving force now behind this new anti-Semitism, as I called it in one of my books, is that the Jews are in the way of world peace, and they are now the enemies or the new Nazis of the Middle East. And so the roles have changed. The victims have become the perpetrators, which of course we know is not true.